Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. So you said you had some parts you wanted to work with.
Yeah, really a trailhead that I'd like to work out because it's just something that I don't want to do. I don't want to be this way, Mm-hmm. I don't want to have these reactions. I want to have more equanimity, and be gentle and gracious when confronted rather than defensive or offended,
Okay. Yeah.
And so the trailhead would be, if I was to receive, even if it's constructive criticism from a particular person. So I'm doing my best. I think that I'm doing a good job. And then in comes this person's opinion. And often it doesn't come easy, gently. It comes really flat and direct. Mm-hmm. And it may be that approach in particular that is the trailhead for me when somebody is, without concern for my personal well-being or my feelings, rather it's only about, what they think. And, so that could be what it is, because I have had, many times in my life, obviously receiving constructive criticism or, getting guidance, having help or suggestions or questioning even, without feeling this way. Mm-hmm. But when it comes at me in this particular way, I immediately begin to shut down, and all my answers become really short, and my disposition matches that of what I feel coming toward me. And so I get defensive, I feel offended, get very sensitive and reactionary. I feel angry, So work has been pointed out, a criticism is made, and then the criticism that's made is either, the task that is being asked of me is perfection, and that I know what it would take to get to that, and that's not a possibility under the time, under the financial constraints, under, and so I think the best I can get out of this is what I'm doing here. And, the questions go deeper and they dig harder, and they feel so abrasive. Uh-huh. And so in my stomach, there's like a burning sensation. It's definitely like a fight or flight. And so, and those two things will like alternate in one conversation. It'll be flight by like dissociation, shutting down. And then a particular phrase or something will be said that really gets to me. And then boom, I'll respond reactionary. There's a fight. And then realize immediately like that's not productive, but then shut down again. And it just goes back and forth between those two things.
Yeah.
And I get like clenching in my jaw. I got tension in my face. And there's like, I know that that sprinter is there. I can feel it. Like I have to be moving. I have to be doing it. I have to be working. Otherwise, and I have to be successful. Otherwise, I'm worthless, basically. And so I see that the criticism's coming, and I want to satisfy all of the demands and all of the criticisms, but often I don't know how, and there isn't a way to really do that. It's not a real possible ask. And so that the sprinter is just like all out. I feel that anxiety, like I gotta go. How am I going to fix this? But at the same time, I've got this other firefighter there that is basically rage.
Right.
And then I've got like the control mechanisms, which is don't rage, shut down. And then there's like a moment where the rage will come out, but it'll be as stifled as I can make it. It'll be like a 2-word response or like a sentence. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm falling into it again. Shut down.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So sprinter.
I've got the sprinter.
Got the rage.
The rage, and then
the shut down, the rage.
Yeah. And then I've got that black hole, which is the worthlessness, the never going to be good enough. Something's wrong with me. I'm broken, self-loathing. I'll never be loved. And so that's when the criticism's coming. That's the way, like, I'm falling into that hole, sprinting as fast as I can to get out of that hole as it's crumbling right behind me. And then trying to like defend, trying to stay there and not just be completely bulldozed over,
Yes. So where do you feel like would be the best place to start, or which one of those parts feels like it needs your attention the most?
It's so tough to say, because I know that the one that's where it's all initiated is that black hole, is allowing, like, this isn't a statement about me as a person, really. Right. This isn't a statement about how the other person feels about me or cares about me. This is just them having their own reaction to the set of circumstances, and then all of my conditioned responses.
Right.
And I know at the base of that, that's the worthlessness.
Yeah.
And I know at the very top, there's running away, there's rage, there's shutting down, and then there's like the fantasizing about committing some addictive behavior. Like, okay, now I'm thinking about, okay, it'll be all right once it gets to 8:00 and I start having a drink or two, or it'll be all right once I stop at the grocery store on the way home and grab a plate of ice cream. It'll be all right, and I'll self-soothe myself, in the future.
Yeah.
So all those things are there.
Okay, so I hear you saying that you recognize this exile needing healing and to be attended to as likely the root issue, but you're not sure where to start because, well, as you know, we typically don't just dive into that. And I would say with our couple of calls that we've had, I don't know how you're feeling about like how much you've worked with those various protectors, but I would imagine we still have work to do there, but we can find out by asking them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who says what.
Yeah. So when you put yourself back in that place, Is there one that's loudest or that's most demanding of your attention? And if not, I mean, we can just pick one. It doesn't have to be.
Well, it's like I don't know, like a visualization would be like that ride at the theme park where you're waiting at the bottom of the pole and then all of a sudden it shoots you up.
Mm-hmm.
And so like in shooting up, I'm going from immediately being at the bottom, which is the black hole, immediately feeling like I'm rejected, I'm abandoned, and then flying up through sprinter, then into, defenses, then at the very top is that rage. And so I'm thinking that if I'm going to work my way down, rage is probably where I should start, but it's the hardest one for me to manufacture. Sure.
Yeah. And the way you've diagrammed that all makes sense to me. I think that's a fine way to go. Yeah. So, we don't have to necessarily conjure up the rage. You don't have to be feeling enraged in order to communicate with the rage. So
nice.
If you can just reach out to it in any way, or just see what it's like in or around your body when you do feel the rage come up. And focus on that.
It's a powerful one, man.
Yeah.
It's like in the back of my jaw, around my ears, in my shoulders, down my arms. It's like in my knees, ready to strike.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just ready to go, and so you're going to ask me how I feel when I see it. And the thing is that I really appreciate it. And there are times when I wish it was there when it wasn't, and I just want to be able to live proportionally,
You don't want it to be overtaking you.
I don't want it to be overtaking me in times where it is not the necessary response, nor is it, not necessary, not productive at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you can show your appreciation, and it's great that you have appreciation for it, and recognize that there are times when you may need to call on it, and it's just the right tool for the job, or guy for the job, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever been the right guy for the job. I don't know if it's ever shown up when it was necessary and productive and helpful.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe we can learn about its story, and it'll tell us what that's about, or when it has thought it needed to show up, we can learn more about why, how, and go from there.
Okay, so that rage, I have a lot of appreciation for it. My interaction with it right now is like the way my friends and I used to like brawl when we were kids, just like messing around, but wrestling and pushing and, just like really seeing how far we can get each other, I feel that. It's really joyful. I miss that kind of camaraderie. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And how's your level of curiosity for it right now?
Huge.
Great. So please turn towards the rage if you can, whatever you can, to access it. Let it know that you have curiosity about it, and that we'd like to get to know it a little better.
All right, I'm there.
Great. What does it want you to know?
Well, it wants me to know that it's got my back, and that that it'll always have my back. That it's 100% loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me kind of question it though, because I know of very specific times in my life when it wasn't there, when I got scared, and I didn't have to be scared. I could have been bigger. I could have been stronger, faster than whatever it was I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And instead it was gone.
So it has the intention of having your back, but you've experienced it as showing up at the wrong time and not showing up when you thought maybe you could use it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say that it shows up at the wrong time. It shows up when I feel like I am put so backed up into a corner, and it's emotionally, and I feel like I'm getting bullied emotionally, and I have no way out of it. And I'm just like stuck, and I'll ask over and over and over again, please stop, please stop, please stop. I need a break. I need to, I understand where you're coming from. I agree with you. Please stop. And then emotionally, it'll just keep coming at me. This is from somebody else.
Okay, so you're saying to someone else, please stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely ignored. Like, no, but I need to tell you this. I need you to hear this.
Right.
And I'm like,
okay.
But I have heard it, and I'm repeating it to you. I heard every word you said, and at this moment, I'm getting flooded. It's too much,
Right.
And
so what is the rage worried about happening if it doesn't come up then? If it doesn't do that job?
Well, I'm dying.
Okay, just stay with that.
It's a panic.
Okay. Are you okay with staying with that?
Panic?
What the rage is showing you or that it's worried about?
It's giving me a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
the feeling is panic.
Right. So you can let it know that you get that feeling, that you're feeling that.
It's like I'm suffocating.
Yeah. And are you okay right now with letting the rage show you that feeling that it's trying to protect you from?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let it know that you're okay with it right now. And that you see it.
Oh man. There's just a lot going on. All of a sudden I got hit with like a really big wave of gratitude, and not for the part, but for the work. Like what has been happening with my relationship between all my parts.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times where that rage would have been coming up over the last 2 weeks, and was friends with it, and it didn't take over. And it's such a shift, such a change in my life for me that it's like everything that I wanted. It's exactly the direction I want to be going. And I just got hit with that really hard, right in the heart.
Yeah. You're in alignment with this part. You and this part are on the same team.
Yeah.
And
I think it's more like the rage needed me to back it up.
Right.
So it didn't have to fight. It didn't have to fight for me. I could be there, and it could just kind of hang out. And if necessary, jump in like a tag team if it needed to be. But it doesn't, because I got it.
Just stay with that. Just stay facing the part. I appreciate the detailed explanation, but that can sometimes take away from the direct connection that you have with this part.
Yeah, it felt overwhelming for a moment.
How long has the rage been doing this job?
I'd say since I was 6.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything else it wants to show you about maybe the panic or the situation you were in at that age? Or anything else at all?
Yeah, I just got a really specific memory.
Okay.
I must have been 6 or 7, and I was playing with like a Nerf soccer ball in the downstairs of the house, and it was after school, and I thought I was the only one home, and it was a soft ball, like sponge, and I kicked it off a window door, like a full view door, and then out of nowhere, my stepdad came out of nowhere and picked me up by my neck and slammed me against the wall with one hand, and I pissed myself, and I thought I was dying. Like I thought I was dying.
Sure.
And came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the panic, man. That feels like the panic.
Yeah, that's really terrifying. This rage has been working hard for you.
But it's not like if I'm going to have a conversation with this rage, I got a question for it. Like, why is it that when the panic hits like that, why can't I rage then rather than when I feel panic coming on, I can protect it. I can stop the panic from happening by raging. Why can't, when I need it the most is when I've been put in situations where I really actually needed it and didn't have anything. It wasn't there. It was completely gone, and I was vacuous. It was just straight panic. But if there's a buildup, like that situation I was describing earlier, it grows.
Mm-hmm. You could try asking it. If you're coming from a place of curiosity and not as an accusation, but as a...
No, it is. I'm curious because and the answer is very clear. It's because it doesn't want to do it. It didn't ever want to do it. It didn't ever want to do it. It feels forced to do it. And when I'm actually confronted in a way that should make me panic, I guess the best response has never really been to rage.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's there, but it's there as like a backup. I don't know. That's confusing.
But it does have some direct connection with this type of panic. And so
yeah. If I can see the panic coming, and I'm able and I'm working with it, trying to set up boundaries and trying to be there in the moment and understand, comprehend, be compassionate. But I see that my boundaries are just getting knocked down one after another, and I feel like I'm losing breath, and like the sprinter is not going to get out of this, and I'm gonna fall in the black hole.
Yeah.
Then it's like last ditch effort. And
does that make sense to you, that response?
It does, and it makes sense that it's just really not the right response in any of the situations. It's just not. In any of these situations that I think of, it's only a last ditch effort when I've given it my all in what I thought to be a very compassionate and understanding way, but I'm not being reciprocated.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was my confusion as to what its job really was, and I was thinking, oh well, what about when this kid decided they wanted to fight me and there was no rage and I had to do it by myself? Like I had to fight
Right.
this kid with full cognizance of what was going on and no rage.
Right.
It was a difficult fight because I did not want to hit the person even once. And I was like, where the F is my rage?
And did it?
You know?
You mentioned the other memory with the Nerf ball and being choked,
Yeah.
grabbed by the neck. The rage pointed to that memory, but was it activated then? Like, did you respond in a rageful way then?
No. Well,
Right.
not there. You know.
Right. Right.
That's what, you know. I because of that kind of treatment, I guess I acted out in a way at school, you know, and
Right.
I used to like rile the troops up in the playground and like have wrestling matches and stuff, just because where else was I going to put it out there? You know, it was just,
right. And it
felt like I wasn't as vulnerable. I wasn't really in danger when I had all these peers around me. I was fine. I could take them.
So the rage, which may be an appropriate response sometimes to panic, wasn't allowed to be on display when you're 6, being held up against the wall by a grown man.
Right.
And
I would have been, you know, murdered.
Right. Well, I mean, sure. So then this rage has to, you know, it's still related to the panic. It still comes up around the panic, but not in those truly life or death situations.
Right. Well, it
all makes sense to me.
Man, it makes a lot of sense, but it's like it's like it's your boy that you know, you're like, this guy crossed me, let's go get him. And your boy's like, let's go, I got your back.
Right.
But your boy doesn't, like, you know him personally, you know him very well, and you know exactly the kind of person he is, and he's awesome. He's not the kind of person that just goes out and beats shit out of people. He's only there because you asked him for it. You asked him to get your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're still showing appreciation with this part? And is it responding to that?
Yeah. Yep.
And you have done a lot of questioning about, you know, ways that you would like it to be, or why wasn't it this way? Try turning that around and just asking it how it would like to be. If it could
that was
respond
a quick
differently.
Response.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was a quick response. It just wants to be athletic. It loves sports.
Uh-huh.
And it just wants to go out and do that. It's like it, you know, it knows I've got a hidden power. Like I'm like a lean, I don't look like a powerhouse, but it knows like I got a secret weapon. And the secret weapon is that, like, I can play, man, whatever it is. And I want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And I love competition in sports. So it loves playing basketball, man. It loves soccer. It loves messing around, doing anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Wrestling, you know. But it wants to, like, put elbow grease into it. Sure.
So it's doing even more of that and doing a lot of it.
Yeah, and doing it hard, the way that it really likes to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, especially if you're a teacher, you're working with kids, you got kids, and it's like, oh man, if I can't go, I got to turn it down here.
All the time, yep.
Yeah, yep.
I'd love to just, like, have somebody come right at me and see them get a little surprised. You know, it's just a lot of fun. And I like being challenged, you know, in that way. I competitors, man. This guy is very much like, exactly my buddy, my sport buddy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely been misplaced.
Yeah. So you could ask what he needs from you in order to feel like he can be himself in the times he wants to be, do what he wants to do, which is around sport, and spend less time coming up in those conversations.
Well, I feel like I kind of ruined it for him, because in my obsessive compulsive and addictive behavior, I obsessively counted every single macro and micronutrient and every single lift and the interaction between my lifts and my diet, and to the point where I have like books upon books of Excel sheets
Mm-hmm.
and graphs for everything. And I went through a 7-year period, I weighed every single thing I ate. I was so meticulous, so obsessive, and it completely controlled my life. And, and my wife saw that whole thing happening. And so in being in recovery and being on the right path, it's difficult for her to say, okay, you can do something, because whenever I have done something, I've done it to an extreme, obsessively, compulsively, unable to stop. And I really don't know how to get back into things relationally, like between her and I don't know how to get back into things without triggering her, or making it, the current situation more difficult. Okay. So I don't really have that availability. So what I'm currently doing is gutting and renovating, properties basically by myself, which takes a lot. It takes a lot. Mm-hmm. You'd know that. And that's all I can give it right now.
Okay, ask it. What else you can give it?
It just gave me yesterday. It was showing me yesterday. I went, after I was working at this property, went down to the lake. And my wife brought the girls, and we went swimming in the lake, and they wanted to get thrown up in the air, and they wanted to chase me while I swam and have me disappear under them and come up the other side and carry them while I'm swimming, and they don't have to do anything because they think that means I'm like Aquaman or He-Man or something.
Uh-huh.
And so it gave me all that. So that's what else I would like to do. Just be far more active in play.
Great.
Which is something that I have not been allowing it. The sprinter has been really taken over for the most part, my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to spend more time brainstorming? Because, you went from I can't do anything for it to, oh, here's something I can do for it. So would it make sense to just spend another couple minutes asking this part?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, I guess, which is why I just jumped, is because the initial response is, I want to go compete.
Uh-huh.
And I can't really do that in my current situation. And so then I said, well, what else can I do? And I said, okay, well, I am putting my energy into these properties. I am able to give my girls more. So do that. Yeah. And then whenever the opportunity presents itself, stop standing by and saying, no, it's okay, I can't, I got to work. No, it's okay, I can't, I have to be an adult. No, it's okay, I can't, because and putting up excuses and not being fully present in a moment where I can really exert some energy and do something great.
All right, now we got a couple ideas here. More playing with the girls, more saying yes to when those opportunities come up.
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, great. You want to stay with it a little longer? Just ask what else you can do for it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Other than what else can I do for it is, how can I take care of it when it feels the need to come out as rage?
Absolutely, yeah. That's great.
What else when I'm confronted and I'm backed into that corner and I'm feeling like I'm suffocating and I feel it rising? What can I do to help it in that moment settle down and be okay? And go back to being its, joyful, playful, very competitive, athletic part.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it just needs me to connect with it. When it comes up, it's saying, well, you just can't tell me. Be like, hey, I see who you are. I know where you're coming from. This isn't your moment. I'll bring you out when it's your time.
Awesome.
To play.
Yes. So there's a lot of ways you could do that, and you can ask the part, specifically how you might do that. If I could suggest one, it would be to identify a place on your body where you might touch into, and kind of think of that as this is where this part lives, and I can touch it and let it know that I got you. I hear you.
I don't know. I'm trying out different places to see where I connect with it the most. All right, I think I got a spot.
Okay. Just check with it if that's something it would like to try, or if that makes sense to it, or if there's anything else that you could do for it in those times.
Well, it kind of feels like it doesn't have a choice because the panic's like calling it.
Right. The panic brings it about.
Yeah. Does it it feels like, well, when the panic starts, I'm coming.
Right.
So if I want to deal with the whole problem, then I need to I need the panicking to die down, and then.
Yeah. And how do you feel about letting it know that that's your intention, is to work with that part as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's with me. It's there. Yeah. We're good. We're on it. I mean, that's what we want, both of us.
Yeah, but it's nice to have these other ways of working with it in the meantime, or individually.
It's shown me all these times where, like, I look over and I see something I can jump over, and I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, man, I look over, I see something I can jump over, I jump over it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I can make that. I can make that even if I jump over it like a Superman and do a roll at the end, and I can get my knees up high enough. I can do that. Like, I've like denied it all of those. Yeah. Not all of them. Sometimes when my kids are around and I'm like up on the scaffolding or something, and all of a sudden I'll do something. I'll be like, "Oh my God, Dad, what? How did you do that?" Right?
Right. Yeah.
That's I only do it like to show them, but I need to show me and do it for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, all those trees we walk past and we don't climb. Yeah. That part that's saying like, wait, what?
I can jump up and grab that. Right. I can pull myself up on that if I want. and I'm not doing it. And every time it's like I let myself down every time. It really does feel that way. So I guess I'm just going to start going for it.
Yeah. And is there anything else you need as far as, planning that out or making that commitment?
No, it's spontaneous, It's whenever the opportunity presents itself, I got to stop denying it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And looking for those opportunities, like you said, saying yes to those opportunities, maybe reframing a little bit when you're framing a home, but reframing how you're approaching activities that are more physical.
Right. Like handing it over to that part, being like, oh yeah, all right, here's your chance, show me what you got.
Right. Which
is a lot better than, pushing that part down and being like, no, I'm working,
Yeah.
It's funny how often work is not actually work. It's enjoyable as it is. And just because I call it work, I'm putting it in a specific box and feeling a specific way about it.
Yeah. So how are you feeling now? I know that when we started the conversation, you had this constellation of parts and concerns about, where to start. How are you feeling now that you chose this part? Does it feel like progress to you? Does it feel like...
Oh yeah, man. The rage feels like my boy, it feels like I got my boy back, my best friend.
Yeah.
And like I miss him. I miss feeling this way. Every once in a while I get a little glimpse of it and I'm like, oh, I want to do that again. But then I push it down,
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel like I can go do some stuff, that I've been denying myself, even in the moment, just enjoying what I'm doing just because it's difficult,
Yeah. I wonder if any of those difficult conversations will come up before we talk again.
That's a guarantee. It'll probably happen today 2 or 3 times.
Okay. All right. Well.
All right. So then it's just the panic. And so me and Rage, we got to tag team putting the arm around panic and just being like, we're all right. You're not going to die.
Well, I don't know that we know that. I think that as far as our work, we haven't really addressed that. And so all we've done here, I think, is we've found a new connection, a new respect, a new understanding of the rage and understanding, not just it, but its connection to the panic. And so when you're in that place or when you're in that conversation, the panic might still do exactly what the panic always does, but you might have a new way to work, at least with the rage for now, and a way to communicate with it, a way to touch that spot in your body, think about those other times when you'd like to use it, whatever else comes up, whatever else you've kind of agreed to with the rage as a way to work with it. And we'll get to the panic another time. I mean, it's the only way I know to do it is one part at a time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it works out. We'll see how this next week of experiences goes.
Okay. Great. And I hope you book with me and tell me all about it. And if not, that's okay too.
All right, man.
I do want to follow up on one thing quickly. You mentioned last time that you had intended to have a conversation with your wife about...
I did.
Okay.
Yep. I put it on the schedule. She saw that we had emailed. She asked again what is this meeting? And I basically just told her it's an IFS, kind of like a guide, a coach for me, somebody with a lot more experience, somebody who's helped a lot of other people that I've listened to, and and she kind of just accepted it, which was great. It's not, I guess I was overreacting maybe, or I don't know.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you did that.
Yeah, I had to. Didn't have a choice. My parts made me.
All right. Anything else to talk about? Questions?
No, man.
Concerns?
I hope you have a really good week. I hope you do.
You too. Hope to see you on the calendar again soon.
You got it.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.